This is Packer and Durham on ACCN and Sirius XM Channel 371.
Because of basketball, Tuesday and Wednesday, today you get accounting and wide receiver U.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So actually, it's a bonus.
Best and worst of the weekend. Before we start, I'd like to give a shout out. I got a note from a gentleman who watches us religiously.
Okay.
And his name is Steve Lehman. And he's from Moxville. He was at Davie High School.
Moxville, North Carolina.
Yeah, he was at Davie High School prior to me being there.
Okay.
And did radio for the Fighting Davie County War Eagles. And he's an optometrist, went to University of North Carolina, practiced in Moxville for 35 years. He's going through some tough times physically, but watches us, listens to us religiously. So, Steve, thinking about you, buddy. Hang in there. Best of luck. We appreciate all your thoughts and all that stuff, but it comes right back at you for thoughts and prayers.
It's amazing what a Saturday morning on the golf course in the month of October will do to you.
I'm glad you're working hard.
I was working hard. I double bogeyed 18. Daggone it, I was going to break 80 in October.
Choked.
Hadn't played in 14 years on a Saturday, but I met a couple guys in Calhoun, Georgia. One telling me about a buddy of his up at Clemson who watches the show on a regular basis. Appreciate that. And ran into some folks in, cars will watch the show, of course. Appreciate their patronage.
By the way, that's great.
Yeah.
Robert's back today. He was down in Texas for a few
we're now
days.
sponsored. You see this?
Well, I don't know if we're sponsored. We're sponsored by Subway. First of all, they're the ones writing the check. But
Salt Lake Barbecue. Robert went to the Salt Lake Barbecue in
Austin. That's one of the great spots, too, man.
Good call, Robert. Way to go. We send our people. Our people go to quality spots now.
Yeah. Well, we're leaving the basement Tuesday, Wednesday.
To go to Uptown Charlotte.
We're going about 2 miles from here.
Notice they didn't let you break the city limits.
No, they're going to. They told me I need to still continue to wear the ACC Network ankle bracelet so I don't leave Mecklenburg County. So I'll still be within the confines of the county.
Yeah.
And because of that, I promise not to do an ESPN expense report because I know that valet tomorrow is going to be about $75.
It is. Yeah.
At the Marriott, where were the Marriott City Center?
Uptown Charlotte.
Yeah.
Marriott City. A lot of construction going on up there, by the way. Leave early, as they say.
That's what I heard. By the way, James Bond film, phenomenal for all you 007 folks out there. And by the way, not only did we have a brush with greatness a week ago with Mick Jagger and the Stones in town, and Mick was at the Thirsty Beaver having a cocktail, enjoying Freedom Park, guess who was here yesterday? Daniel Craig. The man was in Charlotte yesterday. He was at the Speedway at the NASCAR event. Daniel Craig, 007. I mean, you talking about two blown opportunities?
For you?
For me.
Yeah.
Golly. Man, Mick Jagger was a couple miles down the street hanging out in Charlotte. And Daniel Craig was at the Speedway yesterday. I mean, I would have gone out there just to say hello to him. My guy. What a movie. What a great flick.
Long, though, isn't it?
2 hours, 44 minutes.
Oh, that's
But it's like this show. It's just packed with slam dunk entertainment. High energy skits and thrill a minute.
Big budget. Like big budget.
Their budget would be larger than ours.
No, stop it.
Their budget's larger than
ours.
All right. By the way, we need to come up with. I was just thinking about this morning. Coach K's on tomorrow.
7:30.
Right? Still in the league, right?
7:30. This is apparently.
I'm going to ask the first question. I'm just giving you a heads up right now. The first question, if he's watching, he better get an answer. I'm going to give you a 24-hour head start. I'm going to ask Coach K tomorrow. I did not realize you were still in the league. I got a great relationship.
That's really not a question. That's a statement.
Well, that's going to lead to my question because he's going to interrupt me and rip me to shreds.
Can I just tell you,
we've got such a fun relationship. So we'll have a good time going back.
I told somebody this weekend that you and Coach K have more fun throwing barbs at one another. And people are like, oh, Coach K's really mad at Pac. Is Coach K mad? No, Coach K
I'm mad at him.
Trade barbs. They trade barbs. Like when Pac said that, was it, you have dogs like I do? No, I have hounds.
I said, what kind of hound do you have? He goes, I don't have a hound. I have a dog. I said, what's his name? He goes, Blue. I said, of course it is.
Yeah.
That's amongst others. But nevertheless, but here's what I was thinking.
What was that?
We have no budget on this show. We have fans that make stuff for us, right?
Tommy Armstrong, the tote board.
Right, the accounting, by the way. You got to get yours up to speed. Don't look at mine.
Don't worry.
So what are we going to do for K for retirement?
Oh, we got to come up with a.
Do we give him the last coaster that we've got? I mean, that's all we got left. I mean, that's all we have here.
You got a hat left, don't you?
Yeah,
you've already promised a hat.
I promised the Pat Narduzzi if they get to Charlotte. I will hand them Packer and Durham hat. I don't have any. That's it. What are we going to give him? How about a Duke football helmet? Do you think he knows anything about that? No, I can't give that away either.
No.
We got to come up with something.
We will come up with a party. You know what though?
We don't have anything.
I know. We'll come up with something.
How about a Salt Lick koozie?
From Austin, Texas.
Signed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. How about Robin the Duke fan? We'll just get Robin to cook something up and we'll take it up there.
He might be out there hanging out anyhow.
You never know. All right. All of this leads to, I mean, you had 5 games this weekend.
In the league. College football was spectacular.
Right.
Saturday.
Some have already written that it might have been the best weekend coast to coast ever.
Pretty good.
All right. In the ACC alone, you had 5 games. 4 of them decided by a total of 11 points and the other one by 10. Florida State Carolina was the biggest scoring margin of the weekend at 10 points.
And shocker.
Yeah. And then 4 other games combined for 11 points differential.
Figured it'd be pretty close. The Florida State game threw me for a loop. I didn't see that coming at all.
No, nobody did. And and it leads us to an examination of Carolina. Then you had Saturday night in Blacksburg decided on the last second field goal, right?
Is it let me ask this question today. By
the way, how clutch is Jonathan Dorr for the Irish kid from Charlotte? I know that. But
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
No disrespect. His family's probably watching.
Nice people.
Probably live down the street and don't even know it. I don't mean this to be disrespectful.
Right.
Because Notre Dame was ranked. Virginia Tech wasn't.
14th, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm. And still 14th. Not that matters. But was that a bad loss for Virginia Tech? Now, I'm going to pose that question today. One was ranked and won. But you're the Hokies. You're at home. Enter Sandman, all that stuff.
Great crowd.
Always.
Yeah.
You're up 8, late. Notre Dame can't throw the forward pass. They benched one guy. They bring him back in, and you lose in regulation?
It's disappointing.
No doubt disappointing.
Oh, it's just...
But is it a bad loss? I mean, you can't lose that game if you're Virginia Tech. Now, they did, so you can't say, well, yeah, you can. They did lose. I get that part. But I'm saying, as a Hokie fan, how do you lose that game?
It felt like to me that Saturday night now, if you win the game, your momentum is like this way for the rest of the fall.
You got 2 weeks to get ready.
No, you got one because you're playing Pitt Saturday.
No,
2 weeks
you
to get
had
ready
2 weeks to get. I mean, so everything was perfect.
Correct. Yeah.
Crowd. Notre Dame's struggling offensively. They can't block anybody up front, and they score 33 points or whatever the number was. Come on. You got to win that game.
Well, and you have, for Virginia Tech, if you win the game, what I was getting to is you win the game, you got Pittsburgh Saturday at 3:30. You've got unbelievable momentum. Now, granted, you got a banged-up quarterback now. I mean, that's
2.
Because Blummer definitely got banged up. His may be significant. So you got to get Knox Kadum ready, who last you saw was throwing a pick against Richmond. But the idea of kind of where you are, I mean, you had momentum, you had crowd. It's a tough loss. It's bad loss, up 8, fourth quarter.
Not fourth quarter, up 8, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Forget fourth quarter. And you lose in regulation.
Yeah.
That's my point. All right. That got me thinking. When I watched the game, I was mad Saturday night.
Well, the other thing too was that home teams weren't very successful this weekend.
Well, I'm watching the Virginia Tech game.
Right.
And, again, I give Notre Dame credit. They've found ways to win. I mean, is it pretty? No, it doesn't matter. It's all about scoreboard, period.
Right.
So when that game ended, Wes, you know how my mind works. I'm got notes all over the place. I'm like, Virginia Tech, come on, man. You're at home. Right? Tim Hasselbeck last week, great home crowd, yada, yada, yada. Entertainment. We know all that. That's a given. So I started messing around with numbers. You know how I start getting? Especially when the Giants were getting smoked Saturday night. So I was really in a great mood. So I'm putting together numbers.
Right.
And so I came up with something that I want to unveil to you because this may be a bar bet for the nation to jump all over.
Okay.
I started figuring out, hey, when a team comes to your house, with a pulse. I'm not talking about roast beef A&M. I'm not talking about, hey, we wrote a check to an FCS team. Here's your $1 million now. We're going to go beat you by 75. When a team shows up at your house with a pulse.
Power 5?
Power 5.
Okay.
All right. And Notre Dame. Power 5 and Notre Dame.
Okay.
When they come to your house, how do you perform at home? Do you have a true home field advantage? Right? So I figured we're in the college football playoff era. So from 2014 to Saturday night, I'm going to give you the numbers for the ACC in terms of how do you handle your business at home against a team with a pulse. You may be stunned about what you're about ready to view on television.
Now, this is ACC and Power 5, right? Conference games, other Power 5 opponents.
When you play a Power 5 opponent at your house during the college football playoff era, look at Virginia Tech. They have a losing record at home at Lane Stadium.
Wow.
Now, you can give me Enter Sandman, and it's cool, and it's awesome. Crowd's awesome. They got tremendous fans. But look at that record.
Did you think you would get that figure?
I was curious because I knew what the record was against top 10 teams, and it ain't great.
Right.
So I'm thinking, man, for crying out loud. I started thinking, they beat North Carolina in a great game to start the season.
Sure.
Now we see where North Carolina is, and it puts it totally in perspective. And I started thinking, when's the last time I've seen Virginia Tech close the deal against somebody of note? And that's what started my mind going crazy. And lo and behold, there are the numbers.
Wow.
Virginia Tech at sub 500 is stunning given the quote-unquote reputation. Those numbers do not lie.
Yeah, and it's Power 5 plus ACC, and you're looking at, man.
Because if you just ask a common fan, hey, what's the toughest places to play in the ACC? Well, you immediately say Death Valley, right? That's a no-brainer.
Sure.
Clemson's 36-1.
Right,
Good
but you
teams.
kind of expected that.
Yeah, I mean, the good teams, great crowd, all that
Florida
kind of stuff.
State's plus 9, given some of the things that have happened the last 3
But
years.
let's be
4
honest.
years.
But think about Florida State and Doak Campbell. When it's cranking, it's a great place for a game, right?
Miami 10 above 500.
Virginia's always good at home.
Virginia's good at home. Louisville, Pittsburgh, nice.
But Virginia Tech was the one that really started, was a catalyst for me thinking of all this. And then at the end of the day, you add up the numbers. You're like, for crying out loud, they are under 500 at home against Power 5 or Notre Dame teams.
And guess who's coming to town Saturday?
And here comes Pitt. And they're
Off
50
a bye week.
and they're 52 points a game. Play hard.
Yeah,
Play hard.
We'll dive into that's good.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. 2 teams ranked in the top 25 yesterday. Hard to believe Pittsburgh's not in the top 25.
Hey, can I give a shout out? Another one?
Sure.
And you know how much I care about the AP poll. 0.
Right.
But I'm going to give the AP poll some attention. I'd like to thank the AP voters because here's Pitt averaging 52 a game.
Right.
They won at Tennessee. That's got to count for half the folks that vote in this poll. Mm-hmm. You know how many votes they received yesterday?
What?
1
That's crazy.
vote.
That's crazy.
The Associated Press.
That is
We
crazy.
really, on behalf of the ACC Network and the University of Pittsburgh, we'd like to thank the AP poll for the 1 vote for the Pitt Panthers. They got 1 vote. Anybody watching games? I'm just asking. That's why I'm so glad for people to go crazy on the
That
AP
is
poll. I'm like,
nuts.
man, you can't worry about it. But that is embarrassing. I'm sorry. Nobody is watching football if you have 1 vote for Pitt.
Wake Forest and NC State
Excuse
are
me?
the 2 ACC teams in the top 25. Wolfpack back in action Saturday night right here on ACC Network at Boston College.
Before we go to break,
Yes, sir.
I know Subway's our sponsor.
They
So
are.
I want to give them extra bonus time. I got a package in the mail. By the way, I told you the Bond flick was great.
Yeah.
James Bond was in Charlotte yesterday.
Yeah, I heard you said that.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, you
How
said
about
the
that?
racetrack. Yeah.
Can't believe it.
Yeah.
So disappointed I didn't go out there. All right, so I get a box of stuff. Hey, maybe this is what we can give Kay. So it comes from Brian Ives, who's a
Content producer, segment producer,
and very
line producer.
and totally depressed with North Carolina football and Panther football, for that matter. So I
Can't
open
get
up.
to punt block.
So I open this up. I have no idea what it is. So
Okay.
you know it's cool when it's it's around the stuff and in a bag,
Right.
right?
Whoa. Don't cut it.
What do you mean don't cut it?
Well,
How am
don't
I gonna
cut
open
whatever the thing is in the deal.
it? I'm not worried about it. There you go. Merry Christmas. That's what we're giving Coach K tomorrow.
Red bandana beer. Oh, hey, okay.
Coach K, he likes brats, beer.
Jersey City Lagers and Ales. Red bandana beer.
There it is. Boston College special.
BC.
There it is.
How about that?
You like that?
Brewed in collaboration with the Wells Remy Crowther Charitable Trust, founded in memory of the man in the red bandana.
Pretty cool.
All sales will be donated to nonprofit causes that support 9/11 survivors and victims' families.
There it is. Cheers.
How about that?
Like it.
Salute.
Yeah. There you go.
We'll set that right there.
Appreciate that, Boston College. That will be sported right here in the studio.
All right. We're off and running on a Monday. Packer got an attitude, and we're ready to ride.
Yeah.
We're here till 10 o'clock. Eric McLean joins us at 8:30. When we come back, the Deacons in Orange stage a thriller. They go to free football at the Dome next.
The Packer and Durham Podcast. This is the Packer and Durham Podcast.
Pressure coming. Hartman to the end zone. And it is caught for the touchdown. And Wake Forest walks it off to get to 6-0 on the season.
Hey, can I tell you what I thought when I saw that catch?
Touchdown?
Well, that.
Oh.
But that's the kind of play that, like, galvanizes a team for a season. You know, those are the kinds of games where you're in a fight and all of a sudden you get that one play and you're like, bang, that just trampolines your team.
The Swiss are 6-0 for the first time since 1944.
Let me tell you, when you play games like that, and Syracuse came with the fight.
Syracuse played well.
Syracuse played well. And I'll tell you,
Think about their season.
you
Russ.
look at the record for
Right,
Syracuse.
Right.
And you're like, I don't know. I know. They're a lot better than the number and getting better.
There's no doubt. And for Dino, that's a killer.
It is a
That
killer.
was a killer loss.
It's a killer.
I mean, you ran a football. You're going for two for the win at the end. You can't get everybody situated. You didn't want to go to overtime. It does. Wake had to battle just to get back in that bad boy.
Correct.
Right? And give Wake credit for figuring it out. But, man, Syracuse, they look back at the Florida State game and go, woulda, coulda, shoulda. They look back at that game, woulda, coulda, shoulda. They lose to a Rutgers team 17-7, and they've won everything else. And they get Clemson, by the way, on a Friday night. The Tigers' offense.
Who knows?
To be determined, right? We don't know what that is yet.
Right.
We're sitting here in the middle of October. I mean, Dino Babers is looking at the schedule and the record going, it's almost the worst we could be.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Seems that way.
Yeah.
They're light years ahead of where they were a year ago. Light years. I know Syracuse fans, oh, we should be 5-1, 6-0. Get it. But understand that team, if you haven't seen marked improvement by Syracuse from a year ago,
Right.
man, you're not watching. You're not paying
Correct.
attention. You must be an
correct.
AP voter. You're not watching anything.
Yeah.
Because I've been impressed with Syracuse. Tucker's been great, and the defense has been consistently
Sure.
good. And they've always been a problem for folks in that dome, man.
And
You
Sam
come in there and gotta
Hartman.
be ready to play.
Sam Hartman's becoming a guy. He's becoming that guy. We knew he was talented, knew he was a good player, getting better every year. He's now becoming a guy. 330 yards, big throws, A.T. Perry, 3 touchdown catches.
Three
Warren-
catches, 3 touchdown catches.
Right. Warren Ruggiero deserves. He and Dave Clawson have put together really, really versatile game plans on the offensive side. And Hempel's defense, yeah, you surrender some big plays. Tucker has a nice day, but you're getting stops when you got to get them to win games. And at the end of the day, you got guys making plays. Offensively is where they're geared. But man, what a game! And the thing about it was, it's one of like 4 others that were just fantastic games.
Well, here's the other thing. Wake's doing it knowing the targets on their chest. This is not just a team showing up on a Saturday that, hey, nobody knows who we are. Hey, now all of a sudden people around the country are paying attention to the Swiss going, hey, that's a pretty good team, man. They're well coached. They don't make mistakes. And I didn't think they had their A game Saturday.
I agree with that.
And found a way to win, and that's what good teams having really good seasons do.
Yep.
But I'm still impressed with the way Syracuse is playing football.
Right.
And you come off a one-win season and gloom and doom and, man, we're not any good. They've played good football.
Yeah, they have.
And, again, kind of almost unlucky in the Florida State game, certainly unlucky Saturday because they were good enough to win the game.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Schrader's best game of the year in some ways.
Ran the football well.
Yep.
And, again,
this guy's been great.
Oh, Sean Tucker's been out of sight. So I think if you're a Syracuse fan, I think you go in that game Friday night against Clemson going, hey, why not? If Tigers can't score,
Why not? Right.
I mean, it's not like we haven't beaten them before, right? They've rolled into the Dome midweek once before and took care of business.
Yeah.
And Clemson better show me something after 2 weeks on that offensive side. You can't roll in there thinking, hey, we're going to just score 17 points and win. I don't think so. You have to do more than that.
Yeah. So, congratulations to Wake Forest. Deacons continue to make a little bit of a climb. They come in all shapes and sizes, folks. Wins come in all shapes and sizes. They sell them on shelves. You just pick one out and see if you can get it every week.
Well, if you could sell those bad boys, be a lot of people buying.
Well,
it's not easy to buy them.
Here's one that would like to be buying a win. Instead, they're sending you a head-scratching loss. I don't know what to think about Carolina. Roddy and I are headed there on Saturday to see them against Miami. And Florida State has become a thing for Carolina.
Yeah, well, I thought this was the stunner of the weekend. I was dead wrong about this game. North Carolina talking revenge all week. Sam Howell, hey, revenge. Hey, you're up 10-0, kind of a sleepy day in Chapel Hill. Folks get in there late. Kind of overcast. Well, it's Florida State. They're not any good. We'll just take care of business here. Wrong answer.
Right.
I mean, after Florida State spotted you the 10th spot, they basically ran you out of your own stadium. And, Wes, here's the other thing. The end of that game, I mean, it's fourth quarter. North Carolina's down, I think it was like 35-17.
Right.
And they go on this drive. It's like, hey, you got no time to wait. And it was almost as if, hey, we're just going to walk through the park. We got all day here. It's going to chill out. It's going like an 11-play, 6-7 minute drive. You got to go up tempo, man. You're down 3 scores.
Right.
And North Carolina spent all day. Phenomenal win for Florida State, number one.
Absolutely.
Mike Norvell was on with us to tail end of the show.
He goes to a bye week feeling great.
Oh, without a doubt. Florida State, again, you watch a team get better as the year goes on.
Yeah.
You did the Jacksonville State game, and you're thinking, oh, my gosh, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. They go to Winston-Salem, they lay an egg, the Deeks pound them. You're thinking, stick a fork in them, they're done. Done. Hey, guess what? Knowles take care of business against Syracuse, crazy win.
Yeah.
And then they go to Chapel Hill and spot the Heels 10. The Heels talking revenge, all that nonsense. And, I mean, they outscored them 35-7 from that point on.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just like, what are we talking about?
And guess what? Jordan Travis was a thing again.
He's an athlete.
He is an athlete. He's great. He's spectacular. Florida State rallied up against the run. Carolina struggling to run the ball outside of Sam Howell. And look, Howell can do this. Here's Josh Downs, I think, on the back end of this one. Oh, that's the pick. But you start thinking about where Carolina is. There's so many different things going on. And yet, I mean, this is a head-scratcher now. And, yeah, the expectations and all the things that were out there, and you're getting ready to hear from Coach Brown on this. Yes, preseason top 10, lose the opener at Blacksburg. Okay, buy the boards. Did you clean it up? Did you get it polished up? Interesting to kind of watch their season. Come back and get the win against Virginia, right? Look great against Virginia. Then what happens, Pack? Head scratchers.
Oh, well, Saturday was
Saturday night in Atlanta is a head scratcher, isn't it?
They got waxed in Atlanta,
right?
But losing at home I don't even know what the line was. Had to be 2-3 touchdowns. Be my guess.
And lose to Florida State like that?
Well, especially after what you did last year, and you talked all week, revenge. Okay, great, cool, great. Kick it off. Let's see what happens. And you're up 10, and you just let that thing get away from you. But, man, great win for Florida State. Outstanding.
Here's the line, though. Mac Brown after the game. Remember now, after the loss against Virginia Tech, talked about the preseason expectations. After the loss in Atlanta, at Mercedes-Benz to Georgia Tech, talked about the expectations. So after Saturday, more about the expectations being too high.
My expectations to win every game. So we've 3 times we've met it, and 3 times we haven't. The national media expectation, the expectations for us to be a top 10 team were wrong. So I guess we should all be critical of the media for picking us too high, because we're not that good. So you guys all screwed it up.
I don't think that's going to fly. Sorry. I love Coach Brown. But
So do I.
And if that was meant to be a joke, it's not funny when you're losing home to Florida State, number one. If it's not meant to be a joke, that's really a dumb thing to say. You know, it doesn't matter whether people pick you to go 12-0 or 0-12. Your job is to have your team ready to play, period. It doesn't matter what us talking heads do. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter if you're preseason number 1 or number 101. Your job is to go get it done. And North Carolina right now is 3 up and 3 down. I didn't see that coming. I don't think a whole lot of folks did. But here's what I do know. You got a road trip to Notre Dame left. You got a road trip to NC State left. You got a road trip to Pittsburgh left. You got Wake Forest at home. How many people, raise your hand at home, or listening to us on radio? Raise your hand if you thought North Carolina would be in trouble this year of making a bowl game. That's what I thought. That didn't have anything to do with expectations. You got to go get things done. North Carolina, you got them this weekend. It's a crossroad game if there's ever
Maybe
been one.
for both.
For both. Because I did not think North Carolina would lose to Florida State.
Right.
And give the Noles all the credit in the world. But the Heels at 3-3, you've got to be kidding me. Come on now. 3 and stinking 3.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
But you can't blame the national media whether we thought you were going to be great or whether we thought you were going to be pure roast beef A&M garbage. That doesn't matter.
Right.
That noise is irrelevant either way. You got to go perform. And North Carolina has been a disappointment, to say the least.
Boy, no question about it. And Miami in town now. Miami off a bye. Oh, by the way.
And they got work to do. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got an amazingly interesting
Remember
game
what this game
for
was?
all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. How about
Saturday.
How about what the game was in July to what it is when it shows up?
Here's what the quote unquote expectations were for October 16th
That
in
this
Chapel Hill.
game.
We're gonna now maybe Miami loses to Bama. No shame in that.
Right.
But that's their only loss.
Right.
Coming into this game. And here's North Carolina going into the season. Hey, you know what? A lot of folks thought this could be a college football playoff team. All right. And so there's a 0 in their. I mean, who would have ever thought
Right.
that North Carolina would be 2-3 in the league? And I'll tell you right now, they're done. If you think they're going to Charlotte, that's not happening. Unless they're going to be here tomorrow for men's basketball tip-off. But they're not coming to Charlotte in December. You can't. You got 3 losses.
Right.
You're done. You're the only. In fact, you're the only team in the league with 3 conference losses.
Right.
Which is hard to believe. And here's Miami, hasn't won a conference game yet.
Yeah.
Again, this is why preseason polls, expectations, and all that stuff, it doesn't mean anything. You got to go play.
And a good win for Florida State
Great
going
win.
to a bye week. So
Tremendous.
There you have it. When we come back, Virginia wins a thriller.
Woo.
And I mean maybe the best game of the weekend.
One of them.
Yeah. Hokies take one in the chops late.
How do you lose that game?
Of all the guys, Grant Mish on your touchdown lottery list the other night in Louisville. We'll talk about that when we come back. Packer and Durham's Monday continues in a moment.
Packer and Durham. Here's Mark Packer and Wes Durham.
Packer and Durham, presented by the good folks at Subway on this Monday morning. 844-SAY-ACCN, the number. Crazy games all weekend long in the ACC. And for the folks in the Commonwealth of Virginia, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? A little bit of everything.
The game at Cardinal Stadium on Saturday, if you didn't have a vested interest, it was a heck of a football game.
Thought there'd be a ton of points in offense, and it started to exploded, and then it lulled, and then it went crazy in the second half.
Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah,
Going crazy?
because I thought, that could be a first to 40.
Right.
And it started that way. You're thinking, man, we can be first to 50. And then there was a lull for a while, but man, the second half was nuts. And Virginia's comeback in the fourth quarter was utterly ridiculous.
Back-to-back conference road wins for the old Cavaliers for the first time in 10 years.
That's right. They're doing something right with the field goal kicker. I know that much. But we'll get to that later.
Brennan Armstrong slinging it. There's Jelani Woods. Good to have him back in the
60 pass attempts by Brennan Armstrong.
You better
Saturday.
Hey,
60.
When you go to a Cavalier game, you better get comfortable.
It's going to last longer than a Bond flick.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, easily. The half might be the Bond flick. And talk about weapons. Weeks get hurt, or Henry shows up and is a player. I mean, look now, Virginia starting to think about it in October again.
I mean, you think about what? You tell me.
Pushing north.
Oh, you can push north all you want, but they had chances. You lose at home to Wake Forest, got smoked in the second half at Chapel Hill. You know, you had the doink in Miami, which counts. You had the craziness in the fourth quarter in Louisville, which counts. But the flip side to me is if you're Satterfield at Louisville, team of mystery. Man, come on. You're up 17.
You had chances too.
Yeah. It was a wild game. Over 1,000 yards of total offense, no surprise.
Right.
I think we marked the tape on this one last week, right? Brennan Armstrong throws it 60 times. Cunningham was terrific, even though he didn't rush for a touchdown. But, man, has he been good this year, too.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, two really good quarterbacks getting after it. It's good stuff. If you love offensive football, it was your kind of game.
Brennan Armstrong, Sam Hartman kind of took the show a little bit this week, didn't he?
Well, Jordan Travis was awesome. Taking care of business.
QB's delivered.
Schrader was really good at Syracuse.
QB's delivered.
Yep.
You want to recap Blacksburg here? You really got mad watching this.
I don't know. And, you know, this is me on Saturdays. I'm watching every game known to man, right?
Right.
Taking notes left and right. And I don't normally get high or low. It's just because it's really a work day, believe it or not. At least I claim it to be. So I'm on the couch with the dogs,
right.
And, you know, you're just watching games, and you're like, I mean, especially Saturday, right? You keep in mind, Saturday afternoon, I'm watching Oklahoma, Texas, which was insane. I'm watching Arkansas, Ole Miss, which was insane. You see the endings of these games left and right, and so you get into prime time, and you're like, oh, you're almost spent, really. I mean, as crazy as Saturday was as a college football junkie, and then you get Virginia Tech. You knew the crowd was going to be great. That was never in doubt. You figured Notre Dame is really struggling with the offensive line.
Right.
Could have a hard time moving the ball. Virginia Tech's got them right where they want them, and they just couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
And I normally don't get upset watching games, but I could not believe that Virginia Tech lost that game Saturday night.
Big-time physical football game, too. Cone goes out. That's unbelievable.
I mean, what else do you want, Virginia Tech? I mean, Notre Dame can't move it. Their backup quarterback can't throw the forward pass. You got the crowd. You got the lead. There's a targeting. They had that going on all day Saturday again. Worst rule in college football. And then Cone comes in off the bench and starts slinging arrows all over the place. And the Hokies
worst thing happened was the other guy turned his ankle.
No doubt.
Because you had a beat on him.
Right. He couldn't beat you. What's he
Right.
going to do? Throw it from here to Chester? Incomplete? Yeah. Can't throw it.
He threw it to you one time. You ran it back.
Right. You're right.
Jermaine Waller, pick six.
Right. I mean, so, golly, Virginia Tech, you had them right where you wanted them, and you just didn't close.
Yeah. Just felt like it was a game to go up or a game to go down, and it didn't happen. And now here comes Pitt. And that's the, you got to process this and move on.
No doubt.
If you're meeting this morning, you got to flush it and go.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, Saturday, they're coming in there, and nobody, one cat in Omaha voted for them in the top 25.
Yeah.
Not even the guy who votes in Pittsburgh voted for Pittsburgh.
How many ACC writers
I
do we
don't
have
know.
in the AP
I don't
poll?
know.
Didn't
We'll
even
have to
vote
send-
Pittsburgh a vote.
Didn't even vote Pittsburgh. The people that voted Pitt in the top 25 isn't Omaha.
Right.
Not anybody that covers the ACC.
It's crazy.
So you know who loves that? The head coach.
Sure does.
Because here they come.
Here's what you do if you're Virginia Tech, though, if you can. As awful as that was, because that's a game you got to win. Sorry, you got to win that game.
And I feel for Fuente, and
do
I
too.
feel for that team because I know how much they invest in this process to get better. They scraped Richmond. They come through the bye week, and you're thinking, here's Notre Dame. Gettable Notre Dame.
Yeah.
and it doesn't happen. And God, I hope Burmeister's not hurt bad, because Blumrich's down. That did not look good. And
when Burmeister goes down with the shoulder, then comes in and runs in for the touch, you're thinking, game over. Go close the deal now.
By the way, he's a gunslinger too now.
He's a tough dude.
Man, he's tough.
Tough dude.
Yeah.
But if you're Virginia Tech, the quicker you can put that, like you said, flush it and understand it doesn't affect your race in the ACC at all. At all. You're still a 0 in the loss column, and here comes the other team with a 0 in the loss column with Pitt as far as the conference race goes. So from that perspective, as bad as that loss was in terms of going through it, hey, you know what? The good news is sun comes up, and you're right where you want to be in the conference race with Pittsburgh coming to Blacksburg. But I'll give you that stat again. The Hokies are 16-17 at home against Power 5 teams in Notre Dame in the college football playoff era. You're going to have to beat a good team Saturday.
Yeah.
Because Pitt's coming.
Yep. When we come back, more to go on the weekend, and we got breaking news. We got breaking news this morning. Really. Legitimate breaking news. And we'll talk about Duke and Georgia Tech.
What celebrities in Charlotte now?
It doesn't have anything to do with a celebrity.
Oh, all right.
Legitimate breaking news when we come back. And the wild finish in Durham. Adonicus Sanders on the back end of a fly ball from Jeff Sims next on Packer and Durham.
The Packer and Durham Podcast. This is the Packer and Durham Podcast.
Packer and Durham, presented by Subway on this Monday morning. 844-SAY-ACCN. We'll get the highlights of Georgia Tech and Duke from Wallace Wade Outdoor Stadium. But as you mentioned, Mr. Durham, breaking news, and it's not great breaking news.
It's not great news. Tim Reynolds, who covers Miami for the Associated Press, quoting Manny Diaz, who does a weekly radio segment with Joe Rose on WQAM in Miami. De'Aaron King's going to miss the remainder of the season. He will have shoulder surgery. Manny Diaz telling Joe Rose this morning on WQAM. That's just bad. There's no good in any of that.
Nope.
You feel bad for De'Aaron King. Got hurt in the Michigan State game, came back, obviously did not play against Virginia, did not play against Central Connecticut State. I think there was some hope that the Canes could get him back. That did not happen. And so now, Tyler Van Dyke, you're up next.
Well, I mentioned this in the spring. I thought Miami's quarterback room really looked great, spring football, and now they've gotten a chance to play some quality minutes. But, going back to De'Aaron King, first of all, he's a quality guy, man. We've had him on the show multiple times. I'm sure you've seen the story about the rehab, what he's had to do just to get back into the 21 season.
Right.
He's worked his tail off. He's handled himself with class and dignity. Is a tremendous player. So that makes you sick to your stomach just to hear that news. But I will say, watching that Michigan State game, when he got hit on the sideline and held the shoulder immediately, it didn't look good then. Now, I'm sitting on the couch with dogs in Charlotte, and I'm not a doctor, right?
Yeah.
But when he went down, Wes, it was one of those kind of injuries, and the immediate grab the shoulder that you're like, oh, boy, that doesn't look good. And I was stunned that he got back in the game.
Yeah.
And he was throwing it all over the yard because they had to, because Michigan State blitzed him in the fourth quarter. And you were kind of hoping, well, the fact that he came back in the game and threw the football and was so active, you're thinking, all right, maybe it just looked worse than it was. Then, obviously, Central Connecticut State, you don't need them. Obviously, the Virginia game. And then to get the news like this today, it really is sick. It makes you sick to your stomach.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because he's such a good kid.
Yeah, he is. Super kid, and we wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, man.
Did not play, played in 3 games, did not play in 4. I don't know. I know he has higher aspirations, but you got to get healthy. You got to stay healthy too. That's a part of the next level. And so we wish him all the best.
When you go to year 6 looking for 7, from that, at some point in time you want to start the clock for your NFL career. And again, he'll make his own decision. He doesn't need 2 idiots on a television show to tell him what to do. So I wish him the best because he's such a good person. He's an easy guy to root for. But that's really, really the hits just keep on coming for Miami.
Well, yeah, no doubt. And he's a quality talent and has been fun to watch in college football. So if this is it, we wish him nothing but the best going forward.
No doubt.
All right, back to the games. The old Horseshoe.
Outdoor stadium.
Yeah. A little bit of a shootout on Saturday, huh? With the old Duke Blue Devils and the old Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
I believe I said Monday I have no earthly idea. Pull out a coin, flip it. And that was pretty much
About
it.
right.
Pretty much it. Because just when you thought Duke, all right, Duke finally got the lead, they're going to win this thing.
But
wrong answer.
But did you have over-under 43 on rush attempts from Mateo Durant?
Well, we both talked about this Monday.
Keep it away.
I said I'd hand it to Durant till his tongue fell out of his mouth. And they gave a school record 43 handoffs. And the guy's a great player. And we talked about, you could have a Gibbs-Durant duo of two great backs. But Durant got so many touches, and rightfully so if you're Duke. It was an entertaining game back and forth from that perspective. Jackets jump out early. Duke was kind of playing catch-up the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah.
Finally caught them and passed them. Mm-hmm. Well, they couldn't close. Kind of like Virginia Tech. Hey, you're at home. You got to win that game.
Yeah.
Can't let that thing get away from you.
Yeah. Mateo Durant ends up toting it 43 times.
School record.
152 yards. Third career 150-yard rushing game. I mean, he's been very consistent. Ninth guy in school history to reach 2,000 career rushing yards. Congratulations to him.
And Georgia Tech continues to give you the ebb and flow of which Jacket team shows up, right? You don't know. The one that you did the Pitt game where they were blown out before you could have your first hot dog. And then Saturday they came to play. Took the lead. Really kind of controlled the game for the most part till the Devils caught them. And then all of a sudden magic happens inside 2 minutes.
Gibbs gets a big score early in the game. But, interesting to Georgia Tech on a bye week, by the way.
Who are they?
I don't know. We're getting to the point, though, in the season where we talk about identities, right?
Or lack thereof.
Well, yeah, or where are your questions? How many of those? Maybe that's a topic for later in the week as we get ready to start the week, maybe ahead of Friday.
When you get the A effort from Georgia Tech, you know what? They can cause you a problem.
Yeah.
When you get the I'm not sure who they are guys,
that's a concern.
Then it is a problem, right? I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get with those guys.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm kind of curious myself.
And for Duke,
interesting stretch for the Jackets.
Better than a year ago. That's what I'd tell you for Duke. You're better than you were a year ago.
Yeah. Seems like a good opportunity to look at the old standings, doesn't it, kids?
Well, it is the middle of October.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at where are we going to start here. Let's start with the old Coastal, right? Oh, home of chaos. Virginia Tech's up there at 1-0, Pack.
I just said 15 minutes ago. Hokies, I know you're totally disgusted losing that game Saturday night, but you know what? You got a 0 in the L column.
Right.
So does the team that you're playing this weekend, and you're at home. And quite frankly, I gave you the record against Power 5 teams. Can you close at home? I know the crowd will be good.
Oh,
I know the entrance will be spectacular, but can you win the game? We'll see.
Miami winless in their only league game against Virginia. Remember, Duke now 2 down in the win column or loss column as well in the ACC. And you see the group of 2s. That 2 on the right is more concerning than the 2 on the left. Because as Mark noted earlier, and I think you're right, you get to 3, all of a sudden you're done. But Pitt, Virginia Tech on Saturday is large, feels large.
What would the odds have been that North Carolina would have been the first team that we would have kicked out in terms of the run to Charlotte? I mean, seriously.
All right.
Never.
Thin.
Not thin. How about never?
Right.
The first team knocked out would be North Carolina West. Come on.
Yeah.
Nobody in their right mind thought that was going to happen.
No, we thought those 2 teams playing Saturday were going to be at the top.
Right. What FBI think about that?
I don't know that.
Can we go back to July with FPI and throw those numbers up?
We might want to do that at some point.
I mean, no disrespect, Mac Brown. We'll need to go back to the FBI in July. Just show me what the numbers are.
Let's go to the Atlantic while we got a moment here, because a quick check here shows you, settle in, kids. This one's got a chance, doesn't it, Pack?
It does. It really does.
I mean, remember now, you still got Wake and NC State to play each other and Clemson to play Wake. Kind of like I like the little round robin we got going there. A couple games, and then Knowles are sitting there with 2-2. Louisville's at 1-2. All's not lost at Syracuse. All's not lost at BC.
Well, BC gets NC State
there
prime time game Saturday night, which is a big, big game.
Might be a little chill in the air, too, at Alumni
I
Stadium.
would hope so. It is October.
It is, mid-October.
Red Sox are still alive.
Yeah, they are.
That was good last night.
Yeah, it was.
That was great stuff.
I enjoyed that. So you got Wake at 4-0. But really, as we said last week, the road is just kind of beginning. That's a big win Saturday, though. NC State, bye week. Wolfpack headed to Chestnut Hill. Clemson going to the Dome.
And a team sitting there like Louisville at 1-2, they're looking back at that fourth quarter going, if we just take care of business, we're 2-1 in the league. We have multiple opportunities against teams in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be 4-2 overall after
Yes.
losing the opener against a good team in Ole Miss.
Yes.
We kind of feel good about ourselves. And now
That's
they're
right.
sitting. You lose a game like that, it just leaves such a lousy taste in your mouth. Like, man, alive.
It does.
Now we got to play uphill.
That's
but
exactly
BC, NC State Saturday is really, really important. Just saying.
Really important.
Yep. Just saying.
Pack has been busily compiling this week's best and worst of the weekend.
Yep.
How'd you
Bunch
do?
of 'em.
How'd you do?
There's a bunch of them.
Bunch of them both ways?
Bunch of them both ways, and wide receiver U is loaded too. And accounting coming up. We got a busy Monday.
Hide the board over there.
Let them watch. Try to steal the ideas. We don't care.
Try to steal.
There they are. Right
We
there
got
they
some
are.
fan accounting, by the way, that's been submitted.
Right there.
Yeah.
And they're updated too, by the
You
way.
can tell the colors. Everybody kind of picks it out. We might be pretty close this week.
I haven't looked at yours.
Kind of scary.
I just hand you the Lego bricks from Tommy Armstrong.
Follow up on the Manny Diaz news about De'Aaron King this morning on radio in Miami with Joe Rose. Tyler Van Dyke's named the starter. So
He's
Jake
played
Garcia,
well.
Jake Garcia has been battling some injuries too. So I think that's why Van Dyke, who played well against Virginia,
Sure did.
boy, he can spin it now.
He can throw it. That's the future for
But-
Miami football.
You know what's going to be incumbent this week for Miami?
Tackle the man with the football.
And take care of Miami. Miami needs to focus on Miami, and Carolina's got to focus on Carolina.
I mean, that game,
you're going to watch too.
I
You're
watch them
watching-
all.
I know, but you're watching mine too.
Oh, it's your game.
Well, it's our game on ACC.
Wait,
Network.
we went from my game to our game. Boy, I see where this is going.
That's Roddy's game and Alex Chappell, though.
It's the league's game.
League's game.
No disrespect to all of you. Slappies, as Tom Luganville likes to call us. Bunch of slappies.
All right, hour two coming up. Best and worst of the weekend kicks it off. Eric McLean coming up at 8:30. What do you think the big man? Did you see the big man get after the turkey the other day?
I did.
Yeah, proud of Mac. We'll get to all that and best of the weekend. Adonica Sanders, Mike Norvell. They're on that list. Next on Packer and Durham.
Packer and Durham.
It was a stunning fall from grace.
Did it concern you that a number of tests weren't working on Theranos' devices?
Her story, unbelievable. Her voice, unmistakable.
I know that we made so many mistakes.
The strange saga of Elizabeth Holmes continues. I'm Rebecca Jarvis, and I've been reporting on the case of Elizabeth Holmes for more than 5 years. And now that she's finally going to trial, we'll be following the case and Elizabeth every step of the way.
She's a big risk taker. I think she's willing to roll that dice.
The Dropout is back. Listen now and every Tuesday during the trial wherever you get your podcasts.